Yeah.
All right, here we are. Another recording of Flying High with the Birds, Philadelphia Eagles talk. I am the Godfather. With me, as usual, the podcast chaplain, Jimmy. How are you?
All right, boys, how you doing tonight?
Not too good. Will seal the deal, Sealy. How you doing, Will?
What's going on, guys?
And last but not least, and as I say, this guy's name is always mentioned when the Eagles lose, the Armenian Hammer, Vahe. How are you?
How's everybody? Hopefully you feel much better than last night, right?
Well,
Scary, right? One of the
Yeah,
scariest things I
very
ever
scary.
saw.
yeah. This is being recorded the day after the Buffalo Bills Cincinnati game. And to be honest with you, I'm not even much prepared to talk about the Eagles, even though I had a lot to discuss because of what happened last night. But in all my years, I did experience this once happening in 1971. And so I'm the only one that would remember this. A guy by the name of Chuck Hughes, who was a wide receiver, actually for the Eagles at one time, and he was a good wide receiver. He was playing for the Detroit Lions against the Chicago Bears, and he had a heart attack right on the field, and they had to take him away, and he died in the hospital of a heart attack. And that's the last guy that died playing football in the NFL. So, I mean, I'm not saying anything's going to happen now. Hopefully he'll be okay. I know he got his vitals back. You just hope that his brain activity is good, but he didn't have oxygen for a short time. And that's a real concern, but they say that he's a real character guy. Did you hear that there was like $4 million donated to his charity that he has?
Yeah.
And he's from the Keys Rocks, Pennsylvania, which is really good. It would be great for him to make a recovery and come back from this. It would be a great story. I don't know if any of you guys would like to say anything.
Yeah, it was a freak situation, and I'm glad the medical staff was there and trying to help him out, and obviously they were able to bring this pulse back, and they took him to hospital. And then my only concern was basically initially I don't think they really assessed the situation as it was, and they were just trying to restart the game. And luckily, the staff on both sides, they interfered and then just said that's it, we're done, which was a really good thing. I mean, it would have been really embarrassing if they continued playing the game while this kid would be like in the hospital fighting for his life.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. They said one of the players was quoted, saying they said it was a real eerie because usually when a player goes down, they're in agony, screaming in pain, and it was like a silence. He was just laying there. That's why everyone's like, "Whoa, there's something really wrong here."
Yeah. Well,
and you could tell by the expression on their faces
of all their faces.
It was
Yeah.
unreal. Like
You knew something was wrong.
Allen, to Diggs, to McDermott, like it was scary.
Yeah, and it's a shame for the kid too, because he was a 6th-round pick out of Pittsburgh, and he got his starting job because the starting safeties got hurt in the second game, I think, and he's out for the year. Micah, I can't think of his name. The guy's name is Micah something. That he's out for the season. He's played really good, and it's just really a shame that this could happen to this kid. I'd like to see him recover from it, and it'd be nice to get some good news in the world we've been living in. But I think it was done well, the way that they just, and I'll tell you, really give the fans a lot of credit at the game. They all stayed there. They all were quiet. They were just concerned.
Class act
Class act all the way through. I mean, everybody. Even the family of DeMar Hamlin even sent a message that they are just overwhelmed by the amount of support that they got from Cincinnati, the Bengals, the fans, and everybody else around the world, and just to pray for the kids. So he comes.
I was impressed with the ESPN too. They handled it really well.
Yeah,
they were great.
Very class.
They were great, but it was almost like when they kept going back and forth, it was almost like everybody already knew something that we didn't. That's what I was worried, and that's why I just kept the game on. I knew any minute I would probably hear some, but with this type of injury, we may not hear anything for a while. It's going to take him a while. They're trying to get his brain to heal, I think, because it was a lack of oxygen that he had to the brain. So, but
And
anyway,
there was a lot of fans too on both sides that went to the hospital and sat outside the hospital for a while yesterday.
that's nice. Yeah, Cincinnati fans, so that's good. That's a real good thing. All right, so are we going to get on with this mess of the game that we saw on Sunday?
I already did my research on Gannon.
Eagles lose
I have all
20
the stats.
Let's get it started. Eagles lose 20-10, their second straight loss. Second time for 2 weeks in a row, they tried to grab that number 1 seed and they can't. If they, either one or two things are going to happen at the end of this game next week. They're going to either end up as the 1 seed or the 5 seed. So, but the good thing is that the Giants lost. The Giants don't need the game. You don't know what they're going to go in, with this game with. They may want to keep their players healthy, but to be fair about it, the Eagles really need to win this game fair and square. So, Will, you want to take it away in your take of this game?
Game was just ugly. I mean, all facets of the game. I mean, the defense, the whole first half looked irrelevant. They couldn't make a stop. I mean, they made their quarterback look like a Hall of Famer, and he's at the tail end of his, like, well past the tail end of his career. He's just there just to. I mean, he's like a stop and get quarterback. It was just so embarrassing. The defense, the offensive line was the worst I've ever seen in like the last 5 years. I felt like Driscoll was just, I can't even believe he was out there like playing like that. I'm not used to him playing like that. He's done pretty well and he just looked awful. I think Minshew took 4 hits on the first 6 plays of the game, which is just, I mean, you can't expect any quarterback to play well like that. But it also, like, I don't understand why our coaches are calling a Jalen Hurts offense for Gardner Minshew. It doesn't, like, they had the same exact, they were calling Jalen Hurts type plays for Minshew. It didn't make any sense. Like, you have to somehow separate the two. Like, you clearly know that Minshew isn't the same type of quarterback as Hurts. And the Ravens do this really well. Their backup quarterback is a running quarterback, so they can just plug the guy in and they can run the same offense. We clearly can't do that because these are 2 completely different players. And I mean, it was just nothing made sense this whole game. Like, the coaching on both sides of the ball was just god awful. Like, I just couldn't make any sense of anything that we were running, and then the line looked freaking horrible. I don't even know where to start, to be honest. It was just one of the ugliest games. It was probably the ugliest game all year.
Yeah. Now, do you think they should look at a backup quarterback similar to Hurts' talents, like a running quarterback? If Hurts is going to get hurt again, they have a backup who can run an offense that Hurts can run?
I mean, that's probably a good idea if the coaches clearly can't. Like, they had a whole week to game plan, and this is what they threw at us. It was a whole week or 2 weeks with Gardner Minshew, and they're still running Jalen Hurts plays. Like, you can't do that. Gardner Minshew's not nearly as fast. Right. And the Eagles have, in my opinion, a great rushing offense with Hurts and Sanders because they complement each other really well. But with Hurts not there, I mean, you can't run the read option with Minshew and Sanders. It's not going to work because no defensive end is going to pay any attention to Minshew at all. So they're just going to take away Sanders, who's still, I mean, what do you have? 12 carries for 60-something yards. Like, he still played well, but you're just completely eliminating the whole offense by running play action with Minshew. It makes no sense. You have weapons. Game plan a little bit. Game plan and run an actual offense.
I'll tell you what got me. I think even though the defense Gannon got the defense going in the second half. He made the right adjustments in the second half. That first drive drove me nuts. They had the ball for 3/4 of the quarter, and he played a soft zone. And somebody, I think Jimmy, it might have been you, was saying to me on the text that same thing as Washington, the same thing as a Washington game. They run a play here or there, get 5-6 yards, third down, they get the pass and complete it for a first down, all the way down to the end zone. That first drive completely quieted over 70,000 fans. Even though the offense played bad and the defense came back and played better in the second half, the entire first half, the play calling on defense, I thought was awful. And I know, Vahe, you want to give me a little diatribe of what you think of Gannon right now. So
Exactly. I mean, the thing is that right now, the defense, they go by the stat, they say they have 68 sacks, second to most. It doesn't mean anything, because the thing is that they're not being able to stop anything. And I just looked at this stat before we got on because I want to talk about Gannon. So with the Saints, they have an average offense, right? They had 19 first downs. They were 20 for 24, right? They have a passing total yards 313. This is coming from a 6-9 team, right? So the first half, it just basically bled the time. I mean, there was nothing left. And people say, well, then he always comes back in the second half, whatever. But the problem with this team, and it's starting to show up, is that if the defense doesn't take the lead in the beginning of the game, there's no way you can rely on the defense to keep you in it. And I'm afraid that once the playoff starts, right, it's extremely important for the offense to take the lead and get at least maybe a touchdown or 2. Otherwise, they're just going to bleed you to death with the small, pass here, run there. And there's no way they can stop Dak. They cannot stop Brady. They cannot stop anybody. So I'm sick and tired of everybody's telling me this guy is such a genius, but we average Joe Blows, we don't see his genius. There's no such thing as genius. If you're going by the stats, he gives you stats. But other than that, he's not giving you anything. And the game is not won by stats. And the case in point with this one, and even with the Dallas game, they got lucky with the Dallas game because Dallas doesn't have a good defense, and they're going to be exposed that way too. But offensively, they make every quarterback look like an Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. Like offenses now are looking at the Eagles and they're just like, all right, they just want to play zone the whole game. We're just gonna take like little 5-yard passes,
Exactly,
like easy crossing routes. Like they're just taking what we're giving them and we're making them look so much better. And then it takes to the second half for us to adjust, and then we can slow them down a little bit. I just don't understand why you go into this game knowing that this quarterback is so immobile. Like, just get after him and, press a little bit. There's no reason this guy's going to beat you deep. Like, it just nothing made sense to me. It's just stupid. Gannon is, I'm with you, Vi. I'm done with him. He sucks.
Yeah, hopefully he gets a head coaching job, right?
yeah,
No.
Well, other people say the same
I hope he
thing.
gets a high school volleyball coaching job.
no, I agree.
But for me, the most insulting thing is basically they come across as basically we don't know nothing, we don't understand anything. This guy is such a genius that basically his intellect is beyond us for us to understand what's going on, and that's really the most frustrating part. I can see what's going on. I'm not that stupid, right? If the other team has a ball for like 35 minutes, and you only have the ball for 5 minutes. And okay, you have 5 sacks. What does it mean? Doesn't mean anything. You lost the game.
No, it's you look at the team and it's like, all right, this team is loaded with talent, especially on the defensive side of the ball. This is probably one of the best defensive lines in NFL history, and it's showing because they're really not blitzing. Like, I mean, this D line is really getting after it. I just don't understand what their game plan all week, because they come out with the same zone coverage every single week, and offenses are just taking what they're giving them. It's not a big deal anymore. They're not afraid of the Eagles defense. They know they're going to take a bunch of sacks, but they're also going to give up a lot of easy plays.
First downs. Yep, exactly.
best way to beat the Eagles defense is what a quarterback with a 3-step drop and throwing the ball over the middle. I mean,
Yeah,
the percentage rate of completions are going to be very, very high.
To be honest
Not
with you,
having Maddox in there and Chauncey Gardner does hurt.
Yep. yeah.
I mean, that's big difference there between the two
We're talking a
players.
little about that last week, that how the Maddox injury is going to hurt them.
Yeah. No, I
see,
agree.
I'm looking at the playoffs. Obviously, most probably they're going to get the first seed, right? So the second one they're going to see either San Fran. No, they're not
Tampa
going
or
to see San Fran.
Dallas.
They're going to see
Tampa or Dallas. Really.
It's going to be, yeah, I think Tampa or
Green Bay. How
Dallas
about
is
Green
what I'm
Bay?
thinking.
I'm
Well,
thinking
Green
Tampa
Bay-
or Dallas. Green
I
Bay,
don't know
you're
about
right,
that,
Green
man.
Bay. If Green
No.
Bay gets the 8, they can beat somebody.
It would
So we-
probably be, probably be probably be San Fran.
It would, yeah, if they get
Because I
in.
think aren't the
I think the
Niners the 2 seed?
49ers leapfrog Minnesota,
I
yeah.
think they did too. So that's good. If the Eagles could keep the 1 seed, that would mean the only way they could get the 49ers would be in a championship game. Which
But
would be
besides
really
that,
nice.
the only team that I can say they can beat them in the playoff is the Giants. Honest to God. No, seriously. I mean, seriously, take Tom Brady, the way he looked last
Yeah.
week. Then you
Vintage
have
Brady.
Rodgers, right? Then you have San Fran, right? And then you have Dak. So who are you beating? I don't think you're
And-
beating any one of them with the way the defense is playing right now.
And
Yeah.
Tampa Bay was down in that game, and Brady rallied from behind. I think they scored 21 straight points or something.
I mean, the
Jimmy,
defense
yeah.
that they play, the zone defense they play, it's basically they're playing to the strength of the other guys. They're playing to the strength of Dak, Brady, everybody. I mean, I cannot see them beating any one of them the way they're playing right now, the defense-wise. And I'm a homer. I mean, I always go for the Eagles, but the way they're playing right now, the defense, I cannot see them beating any one of those guys.
Yeah, but then again, the defense really only gave up 13 points. If you really want to look at it from a realistic point of view, the first half they were terrible. The second half they did play good. I'll give them that. But the problem was, what would you have? 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. And the other thing is this. I think the key to beating the Eagles is having winning the time of possession is number one. Number two, a quarterback. I mean, load your scheme with nothing but plays with the 3-step drop. That's why Brady worries me, because Brady is the best 3 and 5-step drop quarterback, I think, in the NFL right now. Rodgers is another one. But I think that they're the keys to beat the Eagles. And I will say this, I'm privately concerned, and I hate throwing the coaches into this, but I'm very worried about, I know these coordinators have, 1 year under their belt as the coaches of this team, but they worry me in a playoff situation. I think if one of them just has a bad game plan, the Eagles could lose in the playoffs.
That's why I think Hurts is should be the MVP, because I think they're going to go as far as it takes them. If the the offense is clicking and they're taking time off the clock by running and passing and then scoring, that's the only way they can win in the playoffs, not by the defense. I don't think the defense is going to win you anything in the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree. But there's a couple plays I want to point out. The first one is the pick six. There's so many things that, AJ Brown was trying to get Minshew's attention to say that the play wasn't going to work, and he wasn't getting his attention. But Brown didn't do anything on that play. Like it's almost like it could have been a 50-50 ball where he could have knocked it out of the way. But Brown played it like, this is a bad call, and I'm really not going to run my pattern. And he let the guy come up and get the interception and make Minshew look awful. But it was a bad play. He shouldn't have thrown the football, and it was a bad play call as well. But I don't think he did his part. But that play bothered me. The very first play of the game bothered me. I mean, Sanders couldn't block the guy on the edge, and he sacked Minshew. And by what were you telling me? Minshew got hit, 4 times?
Yeah, at the beginning.
He got hit every time. Yeah.
It's so funny. We were driving to DC to take Gary back, and I wasn't able to watch the beginning of the game. So Gary's giving me updates, like, first down, second down, -5, third down, -20. So what the hell is going on? It's like every time they start the ball is a sack. And that's maybe I thought that Driscoll was really struggling. but it was really like getting the updates on the phone. It was really strange, constantly being sacked. He got
You
sacked like
guys-
the first 4 times, right?
You guys should check out Baldy's breakdown of this past week where he talks about the offensive line, and man, it is just
I saw that today. I was listening to that a little bit that he went off. He was fired up.
yeah.
He said he never seen a game plan like that. He said it was absolutely trash from the beginning.
Well,
What
what
goes
like
back to what
that.
Will is saying? Basically, they didn't game plan for Minshew. They put the same game
Yeah.
that they had for Hurts.
Yeah.
They're just
You
it's like they're just coasting right now. Like they're like, oh, we'll get the #1 seed. Let's just try to be healthy. And there's no plan into I don't even know what they're doing all week.
I'll tell you, I got to make an analogy here because I thought about this the other day, especially after that first possession by New Orleans. You could kind of tell that one team was ready to play and the other team wasn't ready to play. I'm going to give you a quick analogy. I've been playing softball for years, and I play in this league now. And about 5 years ago, we had a 30-game season. We went 29-1. We should have been 30-0, and we beat everybody easily. We got this team in the finals, who we beat. We played them 6 times. We beat them handily 6 times. 2 of the times we 15-run them. It was the best of 3. The first game they beat us. They just outplayed us. Played better defense. We didn't hit. It was like a close game, 5-3. The second game, and I will never forget this. Right before the game started, the coach gets all of our players, and here we dominated the league the entire year. They got us all together. He got us all together, and he was saying, listen, this is what we got to do. Let's forget about the other day. Let's just take 2 and do it. And I remember looking at every guy in the eye, and I could tell no one felt comfortable about that game. Nobody, including me. And we lost that game, I think, by 2 runs, and the other team won the whole thing. There are times when a team just doesn't have it. So I think besides having a bad game plan, you really have to blame the coaches because it didn't look like they got this team up ready to play football. Am I right?
Some
or am
people
I
say
wrong?
that between Christmas and New Year, nobody took the job seriously, and they were just going through the motions.
They weren't ready, but the Eagles could have easily won that game. I mean, that pancake block that Dickerson had, you're going to tell me that's holding? Give me a break. That could have turned the game around. But
right.
If the Eagles turn around and win that game, we still would be here saying, what is wrong with them? They barely beat a team with a losing record. And the other thing, I don't know if you guys remember, when the Eagles played them last year, they scorched them for 350 yards rushing? They scorched them on the ground. But they had this stupid Hurts-type game plan with this other quarterback that Will was saying.
Oh man, he can't run for his
No,
life.
he can't. But I mean, that's coaching. And you know what? I know that
You feel sorry for the guy. He's trying to run, and
Honestly, what is the point of running a read option with Minshew? He's not going to run it. If he does, he's not going to get anywhere. So you don't even have to account for it.
that was comical. He tried a couple of times that they could out with him.
Well, because he has to. He has to. Because they know they're not accounting for him. So he has to try to take it.
Yeah, just hand the ball off. That's all. And here's another one that really, really pissed me off. When they didn't get the first down in the quarterback sneak. Why in the hell do you have Sanders behind?
What was that?
Did you see Sanders trying to push him? And then all of a sudden it looked like Goddard pushed Sanders out of the way almost. And he was really trying. But what are they thinking?
And it wasn't even
Sanders
close.
isn't a guy that pushes you.
I heard something that the team was trying to save. They didn't want to use Goddard as much because they wanted to keep him healthy. And there was other players that they were basically almost avoiding. Like Sanders, they're saying, he only got 12 carries because they want to keep him healthy for the playoffs. They're setting the tone right now where it's just like, look, we just want everybody to be healthy in the playoffs, and it's really biting them in the ass.
That play was so comical. I can see Sanders pushing behind.
But what's funny?
It was never funny.
When they showed the play in slow motion again, did you see Minshew with the ball? He couldn't move. So No, but think about it. You had two little skinny guys trying to move the pile to get the first down. It wasn't going to happen. It's that play is perfect with Hurts obviously under center and Goddard right behind him, pushing him. Goddard he moves piles. Goddard. Sanders doesn't move piles. He's just a running back that's got speed. So that play bothered me too. And I blame that on coaching as well. So I know Sirianni, he had his press conference and then he talked to the guys in WIP and he blamed, everything he blamed himself, which normally coaches should say. But like Shane Steichen calls the plays. He can make a change. I don't think that Sirianni calls all the plays. That's his fault. That's Steichen's fault. So no, I'll tell you, I blame the first half on Gannon. I blame the second half on Steichen. I think the game plans sucked and were terrible. And, it was funny, after the third 3-and-out, you got a stadium booing a 13-2 team here, So
I think they were more so booing the coaches because they could clearly see that this was just, they didn't take this week seriously at all.
Well, yeah, but it's funny when Sirianni talked last week, he said during Christmas Day, he watched the replay of the Cowboys game 6 times. Now you would think that he would come out and say, listen, now we need to focus. We need to win this game. And it seems like nothing was done. I just feel like what you guys are saying. We're better than this team. We're going to beat them. Andy Dalton looked like Joe Namath out there. He completed his first 14 passes. So,
yeah, that should never happen against this defense.
I'll tell you.
It's another thing. I think Dallas's defense is way overrated. And that gave them a full sense of confidence. Oh, well, we played Dallas, almost to a draw. This is no problem, walk in the park type of a deal. They didn't realize that basically it's a different defense. It's much better.
Yeah, I think the Bucs will beat Dallas too.
It could be.
Yeah, Dallas's defense is bad.
I'll tell you, you get Brady a week.
Really good. He looks really good his last 4 games.
Brady? In the fourth quarter, he looked great. He looked horrible up until the fourth quarter.
But they still win the game at the end. They were down last week or 2 weeks ago. They came back and won. And again this week, I think it was was it 20 to 14 or 24-10? And before you know it, Tampa was up 31-24 or something.
It's another thing I
But
have with this.
Him and Evans were on point too. I think Evans had 3 TDs. Brady had almost 400 yards passing.
Yeah.
Coming back to Driscoll. When he plays, there's like 2-7 or 2-8 when he plays the right tackle. What's so special about that situation?
Right, but you got to give him credit though. He'll go anywhere the coach tells him to play. And
I can go anywhere and punch it.
I know, but
it doesn't mean that I'm good.
Right, but he knows he's not a right tackle, but he'll go wherever the coach tells him to play. He's a terrific right guard. Terrific. He played really good there last year, but we know
he sucks when he plays tackle.
Well, yeah.
The real problem is Andre Diller doesn't want to play the right side of the line, and that's
okay. Move my
that's exactly the point.
You can't move him. You can't move Mulata because then you're moving too many pieces. Well,
no, if you move Mulata, you're weakening 2 positions to fill 1. So I don't agree with that either. So what other options do you have? And one thing about Driscoll is that he always hustled. We always, to me, last year he played hard. He's just not a right tackle. So I don't know what they're going to do the rest of and think about this now. The Eagles got some real concerns now because you don't know if Maddox is going to be back for the playoffs. You don't know if we're going to have anywhere near 100% Lane Johnson during the playoffs when he comes back. And there's no talk about Chauncey Gardner. Did they open up his 21-day window yet? I don't even know if they did that.
They did last week.
Oh, I thought they didn't do it last week. Okay.
Yeah, they did last week. They just said he wasn't ready to go this week.
Okay. But still, all in all,
I don't think he's going to play this week either. Because the line is minus 14.
Yeah,
Probably
but you know what? It would be
playoffs.
good if he didn't play and the Eagles win. That'd be great because it's 2 more weeks that he can get healthy to play, and hopefully, maybe there's a possibility that Maddox could play. But hey, listen, you got a toe. you got a toe issue, that's not something that takes a week to heal.
Yeah,
That's,
the foot lingers.
yeah. Let me do the commercial first, and we'll talk a little bit about next week's game. Is your kitchen or bathroom outdated or in serious need of repair? Since 1987, we at Kitchen World offer the latest in custom, semi-custom, and even stock cabinetry. Our designers offer the absolute best in custom design right down to the exquisite details. That's Kitchen World with showrooms in Philadelphia, Bucks, and Montgomery County. Call Burton to set up an appointment at 267-228-9875 or check us out at kitchen-worldinc.com.
Armin, before you start, let me interrupt you for a sec because I know we're all kind of into this. So 12 minutes ago, Matt Perino from Buffalo, I guess he's a reporter there. He said he spoke with DeMar Hamlin's uncle, and he said that his nephew's on a ventilator to help him breathe. He has a little bit of lung damage, but he's now breathing using only 50% of the ventilater. So, I mean, that's a good sign there.
It is, but the ventilator part worries me, so hopefully, but we want to, lung damage, you can recover from lung damage. The brain, that's the big thing, because that, that operates all your senses. So that's a piece of good news, and hopefully that would be great. And it would be a great thing for him to come out of this completely healthy and to come back and play again. And then on top of it, have those millions of dollars going to his charity. That would be a great present for him and all those, those fine people that live in McKees Rocks, Pennsylvania. So that is good news.
Probably you guys don't watch this, but there was a soccer player a couple of years ago. I think he played for the
I saw that.
Netherlands. He just had the same situation without tackling. He just fell down. He had a heart attack.
He passed right on the field. He passed on the field.
He passed out on the field, and then
right.
But the thing is that now he's back. They put
you're talking about somebody else. Okay. Yeah.
And they put in a heart pacemaker, or what they call it, the thing that pacemaker, right? And he plays now. He's back. He's playing. So maybe this is the same situation.
Well, the good thing about his situation yesterday is that they had the equipment right there. I had a friend that we're playing softball together. Something quite identical just about happened to him. He didn't take a hit, but his heart just stopped and he just fell down on the field, and it took a while for us to actually get him up, and he wasn't breathing. So luckily they had some firemen there that got him back up again. But in the case, he was in a medically induced coma for 5 months until he passed. Fortunately, in this case, they went out there right away with the defibrillator, and they were working on him. So they gave him the oxygen as quick as possible. So you just hope that his brain activity is going to be there and he'll recover. That's a really good sign. Who starts at quarterback this week for the Giants? Is it Jones, or is it that other guy, the guy that's been around forever since they won?
No, I don't think Jones is starting. I think that's.
I don't think he is either. Yeah, and I don't think that.
I think the line tells you they're not playing anyone.
Yeah, what is the line?
Minus 14.
14.
2 touchdowns.
So that they already, Vegas knows again, something we don't know, that, so the Eagles probably know that too. I would assume that Hurts is going to play this week. I guess he has
absolutely.
to. They can't take any chances. But if they get a big enough lead in the first half, do you take him out in the second half?
Probably.
You do. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what, but you want to be careful that you don't lose the game.
Well, actually, he needs to play because he hasn't played for like 3 weeks now, almost 3 weeks now.
I think it's
so
kind
regardless,
of
they should have played him the first half anyway.
Yeah, but I want to tell you guys something. If they come out and Dable goes with their first team offense and defense, it's not going to be easy. I'll tell you right now, it will not be easy. The Giants normally do play the Eagles tough, and since they got beat pretty handily the first time, my guess is that he is going to go out with the starters at the beginning. I just get that feeling that's what he's going to do. I don't know how long he's going to play them, but there's a possibility that management may want him to play those guys.
Yeah, but the mindset will be we already in. Even if he goes with the starters, they're going to act the same way the Eagles were acting last week. They're just going through the motions. I don't think they're going to be really, really into the game. It doesn't mean anything for them.
I think
And
this
they
is
also,
good.
yeah, and they also flexed the game to 425. So, and I knew that was coming, so it may be a really
Well,
ugly game.
Dallas game, the San Fran game, and the Eagles game, they're all at the same time, 425.
So why did they flex the Eagles game to 425? It makes
Because they don't want
want
anybody
everybody
to watch the other games to rest the players.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
if Dallas loses and San Fran loses, there's no reason for the Eagles to start to play the Jalen Hurts.
I forgot about that. So Dallas
Yeah.
plays at what time?
425.
All right, so the Eagles still have to play hard. They have to.
Oh yeah, that was the
Yeah.
whole thing with the NFL. They wanted to make
I
sure
got
that
it.
none of the teams they basically watched the other game and then just rested players based on the
Right.
outcome.
I didn't think about that. Now,
Yeah,
when this, yeah, good.
They flexed all the games the last week.
Okay.
They don't, they give all the times, like, what was it, yesterday they gave the times or something?
Yeah,
Mhm.
So they wait till like Monday or something like that.
right.
That's why they made Green Bay, Detroit, 8 o'clock.
Yeah. No, I agree. But,
Because if Green Bay wins, they're in, correct?
oh,
Yeah.
yeah, Green Bay wins, they're in. Yeah.
Right.
Green Bay still has a shot. I think Washington is out.
Yeah, Washington's out. If
But
Green Bay wins, they're
Detroit
in.
has a shot, and doesn't New Orleans have a shot?
So Detroit
they're
has
out.
Detroit needs
Saints
to
is
beat
out.
Green
They're
Bay
out.
and
So it's
Seattle.
Detroit or Green Bay, it's looking like at this point.
Yeah.
And
One of the
Seattle.
two. Oh, Seattle, I forgot about
So
them. That's right.
Detroit, the only way Detroit gets in is if Seattle loses and they beat Green Bay.
Gotcha.
And then Green Bay pretty much controls their own destiny. If they win,
Green
they're in.
Bay's playing Detroit,
Yep.
and that
Eight-
game's at Green Bay, right?
I'm pretty sure it's in Green Bay,
I
right?
think it is. Yeah, I think it is. And boy, I'll tell you, the way Rodgers played the other day, I don't know. So think about this. If they get in the playoffs, right? In the NFC, the quarterbacks that the Eagles might be facing could end up being either Brady or Rodgers or Dak Prescott. There's three good quarterbacks that they've struggled against big time. So nothing is a given as far as I'm concerned right now. But I think the Eagles fans are pissed with what they put out in the field. I think we were more mad last week because their offense was great. They could have won the game. We're more mad at, I guess, the defense. This past week, it was just a combination of things. I felt like that the team was playing in quicksand the entire time. So, all right, before we get off, let's go over our picks. I already know one, and I'm sure Vahe, you know too. But we all had the Eagles winning. I was 40-7. Will was 27-13. Jimmy was 37-13. Vahe, you were 24-10. So low.
I had 24-10.
You had 24-10. Will was 27-13. So how do we figure this out? It's a 14-point difference either way.
Are you sure we both have the same differential?
Yeah. Yep. Because I remember I have it written down, and I remember Will said 27-13. And I said, yeah, well, he didn't pick the same score as you, but he picked the same differential. I remember
Wow.
saying it. So
I
how
thought
does that
Jimmy
go?
picked the Saints.
What?
I thought Jimmy picked the Saints.
No, I didn't pick.
No. We all
I
picked
had
the
the
Eagles.
Eagles.
So
I
Vahe
had
was
the-
24-10. Will was 27-13.
What was
Give
the
it-
final score?
Well,
2010,
it was
right?
2010. It's got to be you then, Vahe, because the
No,
Eagles.
technically, nobody should get it.
No,
because-
no.
No,
Who wins? I don't know.
nobody wins.
So
Nobody
there's no
wins
winner.
because no,
Yeah.
there's no winner because nobody
didn't
picked
have any
the
winner.
right team.
Oh,
The
so
only
we
way you
did.
can take the differential if you pick the right team.
Yeah,
Oh, I
because-
thought.
On losing
Okay, so
team.
this week's a complete push.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody
This
gets
week's-
a
all right,
loss.
so that means Jimmy still has 6. I have 5. Vahe has 4, and Mr. Will seal the deal. Silly has 1.
I only need one.
You only need 1 to win.
He was the
So,
only one who had them losing.
All right, Vahe, you go first. What do you got this week?
Obviously picking the Eagles. So I think it's gonna be like a really blowout, 34-10. I think they're gonna come in and then Hurt's gonna come in and they're just gonna basically get all their anger out of the system. 34-10 Eagles.
Jimmy?
I'm gonna go 27-14 Eagles.
Yeah, I like that score. That's a good score. Well,
Give me 24-17 Giants.
Giants. Damn.
Look at that, Bill.
Well, they call you seal the deal. You only need one, right?
What do you mean?
And it's going to stay that way, it looks like. I'll take the Eagles 17-7. I just think it's going to be an ugly game with not a lot going on. So maybe that's all I want to say. The Eagles now defensively have what, 67? They had 7 sacks, right? Last week, 5th game in a row.
I heard they had like 67 or 68 sacks total for the
68
season.
sacks, and now they got 4 guys that have 10 sacks. First time in NFL history. Brandon Graham with 2. Man, what a year he's having. What is he, 34 going on 35? And he's got 11 sacks. Can you believe
Can you imagine
that?
they have all these stats and we're still picking on the
Yeah.
defense being the weak point.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I think I mean, I should eat a little crow here because I kind of was getting on Milton Williams. He's played pretty good lately. And I think he had a sack and last week, and he's had, I think he's got 4 or 5, and he's played pretty solid the last few weeks. Cox has played pretty good this year.
Yeah.
Right? A lot better than
They
last
have
year.
the personnel on the defensive side. They're amazing. If they had a really, really good defensive coordinator, this would be a shutdown defense.
Yeah.
Gannon is nothing. And he's just benefiting from the personnel they have. And they have like a top-rated personnel. So there's nothing for him. He's just coasting.
Yeah, no, I agree. But, kudos to the defense. They're doing a real good job. The D-backs haven't had a pick in how long? Like 7 or 8 games, I think it is now. But Bradbury, for example, he's a zone guy. And I think that's part of the reason why Gannon plays a lot of soft zone, because he's got a zone guy playing on the one side, and Slay could play zone or man. But I'm a little concerned about, the biggest concern I got is if the Eagles are getting beat in the first half of a playoff game, my concern is Shane Steichen going to have a game plan to make adjustments in the second half to come back and win? I'm not sold on it yet. So, you want Gannon to be a head coach somewhere. I'm leaning towards Steichen being a head coach somewhere. So, so that's all I got to say about that. Any last minute? Go ahead, Jim. What were you going to say?
They don't win in the playoffs. I don't think either one may not be going anywhere if we go one and done in the playoffs.
You got a good point there, but I think they'll get interviews, both of them.
I think Gannon's the most likely to go.
Well, it's funny when they mentioned a Denver job for next year, Steichen's name was in the list, but
Yeah, not the Gannon's thing.
Gannon
Don't
was
you
not
think-
in the list.
Don't you think they have to go for like a veteran coach? They can't
Yeah.
go a first-time coach again. Can they after this Hackett screw up?
There's not going to be any veteran coaches that want that job. They're going to.
Yeah, who would be? That's the other thing.
stop
Who would
that.
like they have no draft capital. They're stuck with that contract.
They need somebody like Brett Brown.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, the
Yeah,
big coach.
For the right amount of money, he'll coach a football team.
Yeah,
Brett
No.
Brown.
I agree. All right. Any last minute thoughts before we wrap this up?
If they lose this week, I can't imagine what this city would be like. Will's got me worried. He picked against them.
Yeah.
I'm just expecting the worst at this point.
Minus 14, it's too much of a line to lose.
Yeah.
14 is a lot.
I'm with you on that. So I think they're on to something there.
If
I
it was
can't
like
see-
if it was 4 and 5, I would be really worried because the
Yeah.
thing is that it's too close.
Oh, hey, you can't go by the analytics. You said you can't go by the numbers.
No.
But he's a
no,
numbers guy.
This is money. This is
Well,
money. This is not the analytics. This is money. The
Hey.
Vegas people who make money off this.
do
and
not
sometimes,
doubt a guy
like-
that deals with numbers all day long.
Well,
You know,
Nathan
it's so funny.
says that
No,
again,
guys,
if you bring-
time out. Remember last week, right? What was the Vikings were 13-2, right? And they were going to play against
Detroit.
No, not
couple
Detroit.
weeks ago.
Against also against the Green Bay last week. The line was -3 favoring Green Bay, right?
Right.
And everybody was saying, "Wait a minute, you're taking like 7-9 team against a 13-2." But the thing is that Vegas already knew that there's something is wrong with it, and then they picked Green Bay. They didn't think that they can win.
Even when Minnesota played Detroit a few weeks ago, they were
Yep.
13-3, whatever they were, and they were
Yeah.
a dog. They were a road
Yeah.
dog.
Yeah,
Yep.
I agree.
So
Vegas knows
Vegas most of
everything.
the time they're not really. I mean, obviously they didn't guess right for the Eagles against the Saints. But 14 points is a lot of points to be wrong
Yeah.
about.
I agree.
We're going to start calling, instead of the Armenian Hammer, we're going to start calling him Vegas Vahe.
No, I'm just
No,
I'm not
I
putting
know,
this
I
down.
know, but
I'm just
well-
looking at the line to get like a sense of what's going on.
no, I agree. But well, when you go to Vegas in 3 weeks, can you check
Yeah.
and see if Vahe has a suite in one of the hotels there? He probably has something in it. But no, Vahe, seriously, I do agree.
I love that. Vegas.
Vegas
I
Vahe.
love
much
that.
No, but
better. Vegas
no, that's
Vahe.
not, the Armenian Hammer's
love
got to
that.
stay. But
I
no,
remember,
but
I
seriously,
remember back in the day, the Daily News had Vegas Vic. We got
Vegas Vahe. No, but
awesome.
no, you're right. When you look at the numbers, it is telling you, it's screaming at you that something's really going to happen. So they know the Eagles are going to go all out to win. The Eagles are probably pissed off. They should have been pissed off last week after losing to Dallas, a game they shouldn't have lost. So I still think they're going to win, and the numbers tell a big story. But, we all, I think, in unison can say that we have real concerns about this football team in the playoffs. Correct?
Especially defense.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, we're going to wrap it up. Another one in the books. Thanks so much for listening. By the way, I never say this, but we are, for the 2 or 44 people that listen or watch us, we
No,
are
last
on
week we were like up to 90.
90. We're blowing them away, Will, I'll tell you. But seriously, well, I think maybe if we start with Vegas Vahe next week, we may go over 200.
Maybe we get some balance and start watching.
Yeah. But we are on Spotify and YouTube, and I guess what's the story? Feel free to like and subscribe. I hear that said all the time. So another one in the book. Thanks so much. See ya.
There you go.
See you guys.
See you guys.
Yeah.